Hey guys, so today we're going to be kind of doing our little focus assessment. So we have our 16-year-old Kyle Reeves here. This is him. Hi Kyle, sorry. Uh, so just kind of a couple of things that we'll kind of go through. You'll kind of see me going through and I'll kind of explain as well. So let's go ahead and get this started. Um, so Kyle, you're 16 years old with cystic fibrosis. So I guess a couple of questions I have before I kind of start listening in into your lungs and checking some things out. Have they actually done ever like a chloride test on you um, to see like how bad it is, or actually when were you diagnosed? Like when did this all kind of start? I just kind of want to get like a rough draft to see how long you've been having this, and also you noted that you're kind of having some sputum coughing, a little bit yellow. So just kind of wanted to know when that maybe started up and if that's been a common thing. Not to mention just kind of some medication list. So, do you take anything just to kind of help you breathe? So, like albuterol, anything like that? So, those are just kind of some questions I want to ask because it kind of gives me a little bit of a timeline of whether or not these things are getting worse or if they're just kind of maintaining. And also, the kind of when it started just gives me a rough idea of how long you've had this, and it gives me kind of like the decay rate. So, if you've had it from when you were super, super young and you feel like you've gotten worse, it kind of gives me a rough idea of how bad it is. Um, so those are just kind of a couple questions I have for you. And then just kind of, have you also had, I know these are kind of some odd questions, but they kind of also pertain to your condition with GI. Have you ever had any constipation? Have you ever had your labs checked for kind of like some liver issues? Those are just kind of some things that are not necessarily hugely looked at, but they kind of can correlate with cystic fibrosis. So those are just a couple of questions I wonder. So I'll probably listen in on just your bowel tone just to make sure that everything is going okay there. But have you ever had any issues with that? Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of take a listen, see what we kind of hear. Um, so just kind of listen. Sorry, this is cold. Boom. I'm gonna have you kind of sit up here and we're gonna just listen in onto your backside. I want you to take some deep breaths just like you have been. Does it hurt at all when you're breathing? Just kind of like when you take a deep breath? Okay. Yeah, you definitely got something in there. Definitely can hear that. You know, sounds like the top of your lungs are kind of hit, but not the bottoms quite yet. So that's good. Kind of gives you an idea, gives us an idea of where you're at. So it's good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just listen to your bowels and see kind of like where we're at with that. I just want to make sure, like I said, the constipation is not hugely there all the time, but it's just something I just want to kind of make a note of just in case because these kind of correlate with one another. So okay, normal bowel tones. Okay. Do you normally eat do you have a pretty normal diet? Like what is your, kind of give me a little summary of what your diet consists of. I just kind of wonder if you're eating enough and just kind of if you're getting the proper nutrients. I know that with a condition such as yours, it can really affect your diet and how much energy that you'll really require. So, can you tell me a little bit about your diet, kind of what you eat, just so I can get a kind of a summary of that? Okay, yeah. So we definitely need to, um, we'll probably need to definitely kind of give a little bit education on that. Just I want to kind of recommend just a couple of things, and we can have dietitian come in and talk to you about it, just so we have a little bit of a better alternative choices, just so that way we can get your energy and also just kind of providing adequate nutrients for your body. That's definitely something big, especially with your condition at such a young age. So definitely something big that we need to check out. But bowel tone sounded pretty good. Lung sounds a little bit a little bit off for sure. You definitely have some gunk in the top upper lobes. So we'll just kind of keep track of that. If you at all have any trouble breathing, though, we'll definitely need to get some treatments in, probably just to kind of help with that, kind of thicken it up. And maybe they can even put the vest on you to kind of break up that mucus so you can cough it up. That way it kind of clears up. But we're going to probably take a sputum sample just to make sure that nothing else is going on. But other than that, do you have any questions for me here, Kyle? I know that was kind of a lot to kind of go through real quick, but I think that this all kind of gives me the most information that I can. So, no? Okay. Well, thank you very much. So, these are just kind of a couple of questions, just the things that I went over in the scenario. So definitely, with cystic fibrosis, there have been correlations with constipation. I also asked about kind of the sweat glands, like I said earlier. It's just to kind of show the decay of how his cystic fibrosis is acting. So if we knew it from a very early age, then we can tell that it's gotten much, much worse. So if he got at the age of 12 and he's basically having all of these symptoms, it could be that his cystic fibrosis is ramping up. For some, though, it might not. This might be just a temporary flare-up. Some don't even show any symptoms for a good while. So I also asked the question of if he has any family members. The reason is because there's been a correlation showing that people with cystic fibrosis that are attending together tend to get worse. So I just kind of wondered if this is what's happening, or maybe if he's met somebody that has. It's very rare that this happens, but it's just kind of something to know. Also, just like I said, the sweat gland test, it just kind of shows when that occurs. So diet also is because a child of his age could be active in other things such as sports or just any extracurricular activities. So it's definitely key to have a lot of nutrients to have. I'll not only provide for the growing body that he has, but also to fight and combat his illness. So these are just kind of a couple questions. That's why I asked those questions. Definitely focus assessment. You want to make sure, like I said, bowel tones, you definitely want to see him for constipation, something minor, but the priority will always be his lung assessment and just kind of checking that out. You need to listen to the lungs. You need to listen to anything like that, and just check to see, like his sputum, like as we said earlier, you want to check those things. They're the highest priority, especially with someone with cystic fibrosis. So everything else is kind of secondary, but definitely lungs are something to look at. So thank you.